Alrighty, hello again everyone, it's Prince, back showcasing the game I played with Sakaven that got me to Ultra Rank 1, the final rank in Ultra. This is important because I played the entire thing with Crustle, and I feel like it's a little bit of uncharted territory here. What I mean is that Crustle was very recently buffed. We came out of the World Championships of 2023 with no one having played Crustle at the World Championships, and the X's or buffs made everyone go crazy, though mostly for the Crate Crustle build. I believe the pure tank is the way to go, and this is one of the videos where I will showcase why. Now, right away we have a problem. It's that people are still, even in this mode, reluctant to call their lanes, and the poor communication leads to the XP share guy being the only one at the bottom. I don't panic, but I also play a little bit differently. I know that most likely someone will come bottom with me, because who wants to be sharing XP up there at the top? Now, a couple of interesting things here. I skipped over the first bundle bees because I didn't want to be too late to get here, and I see the Machop running across me to try and get a jungle invade. So that is super interesting to me. I finish off this Bunnelby here because I want that XP, and then I run into the jungle. I don't think Sakaven, our jungler, had noticed him at this point, but I want to bring attention to him because he's not very high level. He rushed in here. Sakaven is able to get the secure on the Aselgor, and we're able to chase the Machop back in the direction that I want to go anyway, back to my bottom lane, and that almost evened out the, what am I saying? You know, the handicap that I was playing with having no allies here, because now our jungler is doing an early gank. I guess it's not that early. But it looks like the opponent team was jungling with a Trevenant, which I've never seen before, as far as I can remember, but now this Trevenant is really big at level 5. I am a Crustle, so I'm pretty tanky myself. The Machop is back, so it's 3 against 2 here. He's out for blood. However, I escape. Look at that. Crustle is so hard to kill. I get the berry, I come back. Machop's in a really vulnerable position. The Rock Tomb makes it very difficult for them to escape, and we get all 3 of them. Yes? Okay, I died, but the Leafeon did secure the KO on the Curlia at the very end. Oh, it wasn't even Curlia, it was still Ralts. That's good. I still move past the Bunnelby because I don't want it to slow me down. If I were a really fast-hitting character, I could probably just kill that and then make my way over, but I don't want Sakaven to have to carry this bottom lane by himself. That doesn't even correspond to him. Now our Score Bunny's down here. See, like I said, I was pretty confident that someone was going to move down from the top to the bottom. We get a good secure on one of those kills there, but we were pressed a little bit high. There is where I think we made a little bit of a mistake. If we go back there, so the first mistake was fighting them a little bit too close to their goal where I had set up my Rock Tomb. Yeah, we killed one of them, but they lowered all of our HPs. Look at how low they all are. And then as we're running, Sakaven is trying to save me. I think he should have let me die, and I, in order to make it the clearer option, should have stopped running, realizing that I was dead meat no matter what, and just turned around and hit the Machop, and then got him killed while my allies got away. Because here, I managed to leave a little bit of doubt in Sakaven's mind, thinking that maybe I'm salvageable, and he turns around to try and get the kill on the Machop, but it ends up killing both of us and grants him the evolution. Now this Pokemon was far behind. If you remember, he tried that jungle invade that didn't work at all, and we could have kept him far behind if we hadn't made that little bit of a slip up. So definitely something I could have improved on. Now the Score Bunny is not having a great time down there. It evolved. The Curlia is a Curlia now. Here I have no idea what was happening. So I show up. What in the world? Apologies, I don't know what happened. I clicked the wrong button. I see what happened. Never mind. So they're waiting for me at the goal, right? And look at what this Machoke is doing. It's running in between the citrus berries, refusing to get either citrus berry. I have no idea what was going through his mind there, but I am going to lock him in here, prevent him from getting the citrus berries, pick one up myself so that he doesn't get it, and steal the HP, and then I can fight these two. The Gibble is still a Gibble. You know what this tells me? Is that they are doing really poorly at top lane if the Gibble had to come back down. So, for a while there, their Machop was still a Machop, their Ralts was still a Ralts, their Fletchling was still a Fletchling, and their Gibble was still a Gibble, and the only person who was doing kind of okay was their Trevenant, because he was being fed on all the jungle. So we had the situation all under control. We made a few mistakes, but that's alright. If you look at the levels, we're still doing okay. Sakaven's really good at getting that XP, making sure he stays at least a little bit far ahead in terms of level of the other team. Now, the other team did pick a risky team with 4 different Pokemon that have to evolve twice, and that's why they're kind of feeling the hurt a little bit of the slow gains, with the exception, of course, of Trevenant. Now the bird has evolved, so everyone is at least in their second stage, their second stage. I'm remembering to get my farm here. Well, there's not enough of us to press forward. They're chasing me down, but I'm not too worried. I'm a level ahead, and I'm a Crustle. That's one of the cool things about playing a defender that you're comfortable with. So here is where this rabbit starts playing a little bit better, and he goes for the safe farm. He recognizes that his level needs to start getting up. We walk him back. He realizes that I'm retreating, and he retreats with me. We want them to come to us, not the other way around. We're waiting for the right moment. See, I look like I'm pressing, but I don't go all the way, because I don't want them to be able to walk back to their goal. So here, I say, okay, if they're playing too careful, then I'm just going to go and steal the farm. And sure enough, that lets them go into our goal. They do both score, but in exchange for their lives. Most likely. At least one of them. See, here my Rock Tomb traps the Machoke. It's really hard to escape from that Rock Tomb. Now, for a while, the rabbit wasn't helping, but we eventually did get it. The Machoke tries to re-engage, but I think that's just the way the nature of his abilities work. So the Curly is still there, but I couldn't try and get the secure. I needed to go back. See, now the Cinderace, following my lead, the dividends have paid off. He is fully evolved, and the Curlia is not. Unfortunately, that right there evolves the Curlia. I was a little bit too late to get here, and the birds are up, and I'm busy fighting this Gardevoir. This is not a great position. I would have had to have dived for a chance at getting her there, and it wouldn't have worked out too great. I do like how I X-scissored the birds away from the enemy so that they would have to come a little closer to contest, but my HP is getting low, so I try and set up a Rock Tomb to prevent them from moving back. Now here is cool. My X-scissor that goes at the birds kind of dodges the Gardevoir's attacks because I'm no longer where she expected me to be, because X-scissor propels me forward faster than I could possibly walk. So that was a nice little happy accident there. If I meant to do that, it was subconscious. Now the Cinderace is back. We're doing okay. Gardevoir's partner hasn't shown up in a little while. I haven't been doing a great job of narrating what's been going on at top, but we haven't seen our jungler in a little while, so I'm guessing things are going pretty well. And if you look up, they are missing a goal while we are not. However, we only have 6 left in this goal. So the last time they scored on us, they really scored a lot, and they probably got it just really close enough to where they can hopefully overscore later. Now, Talonflame's a rough matchup for Crustle. Luckily, I took that Brave Bird instead of our Gardevoir, and they were able to get a Citrus Berry. And it's a little bit rough because I like to put up hazards on the road, like Rock Tomb. It's the best thing about playing Crustle, honestly, is that you get to set up roadblocks. But characters that fly, like Charizard and Talonflame literally flies with its ability. Charizard is just in the air as it moves. They're really good at not getting trapped by that Rock Tomb like they're supposed to be. So there are 2 of the Pokemon I don't want to see while I'm playing Crustle. Here, the Gardevoir does well to stay just out of range to where it can walk to the Citrus Berries but still disrupt us. However, it gets clipped here. Now, the Machoke did well to kill a couple of the other scoring, but here is where I turn on Rebel Rouser, the Unite move of Crustle, which is so powerful. Talonflame retreated. I was waiting here for the Machoke to come engage me, and I waited a little bit too long. He was smart to stay in his goal, realizing that my Unite move was ongoing. But here, Leafeon dives and gives up his life in exchange for weakening the 2 opponents to the point where Crustle can just delete them. Now, this is an interesting chase here. I walk down to here, get a little bit of healing from my goal, make sure Gardevoir is really far away from where she wants to retreat to, and let's see how this fight ends up. Turn around, Rock Tomb seals him in, X-Scissor into the Rock Tomb, chip, and that is a dead Gardevoir. That's why it's so hard to overextend against Crustle. It's because it's so good at stopping you from retreating when the tables turn, when the situation changes. Now here, this is where I noticed for the first time, I don't think I've scored this entire game. And if you look at the scores, despite all of our goals being up, we're behind on points. And there's so much energy on the ground just because I've been carrying the maximum for a while now. And so I'm trying to score. We couldn't score back then right before I united when the Gardevoir had retreated just barely and was sniping us from just outside the goal. I'm going to try and score now, but the Talonflame is here interrupting me. So I need to try and get rid of that. I'm not the greatest at fighting Talonflame, but here is Gardevoir to support me. It flies again, but now it's in our territory, so it should be an easy kill. It dealt a lot of damage to us, so we can't just chase immediately afterward. We have to stay and get some HP. The Gardevoir comes back to us. I don't feel like I have enough HP to Rock Tomb and chase it back, so I Rock Tomb hoping someone else could have chased it back, or maybe it got nervous or something. But no, she's able to snipe our Gardevoir. However, I am mainly healed up. I can go try and engage again. I have a lot of points I really need to score. 25 seconds till the bottom objective, so I try and sneak in a score here, I think. It does not work, but the Gardevoir goes down and the bird gets chased away, but the bird comes back to disrupt me from scoring, and he gets killed. Is this finally the time? Yes. With 2 minutes and 38 seconds left in the game, I score for the first time. Now we go back trying... No, Sakaven's securing those birds, so I don't feel like I have to help him. I would rather make sure the Machoke stays far away. And here they're chasing Trevenant down, and I don't notice it at this point, because I'm thinking, okay, there's 23 seconds until Rayquaza comes up and makes this Regirock vanish. So I was running down here with Sakaven to try and rip the Regirock, but Sakaven sees the tree coming out of the woods, so he goes to make sure he dies. I thought it was because he wanted to protect us from getting the objective stolen, but no, getting the kills is actually pretty nice here. At this point I had thought it was too late for the Regirock, but everyone dives on him, so if everyone's on the same page, 10 seconds is plenty of time to rip this. And sure enough, someone comes to try and steal it, but it's a little bit too late. I secure with that X-Scissor, and now he has nowhere to go. Rock Tomb is stopping his escape. He gets killed. And does someone else throw their lives at us? I think they do. Here's the Talonflame trying to dive on us, trying to get that Gardevoir. I pivot to chase a little late. They had already killed it, and it takes me a little while to notice. But by the time I come back, Blastoise and Gardevoir are here. Not Blastoise, I'm sorry. Their Trevenant and Gardevoir are here. Our Blastoise is here. Even though Trevenant is super tanky, we're still able to delete him with this many players. And with the Gardevoir by itself won't last very long. See, Rock Tomb prevents all escape. And now we've got 2 of them dead. One of them is a really good secure, so we try and go start ripping this Rayquaza. At first it's only Sakaven and I, but Gardevoir uses the jump pad to get closer. Blastoise is here. I see them coming up from the bottom right. Do I pivot or do I just keep smacking? I think this is a game that I'm saving my X-Scissor until the last moment in case I have to emergency secure. And sure enough, there it is. In fact, I think I got it with an auto attack because I saw myself X-Scissoring after the Rayquaza went down. Now, I don't know what the Gardevoir was doing up there. He was hiding in the bushes trying to prevent someone from scoring, and they don't prevent them anyway. That Gardevoir would have been a headache if it had shown up to the objective fight. Oh well, sometimes this is what makes or breaks a team in an important match, right? So now that we've scored our points, we would like to go back and defend, but another thing that I'm thinking of is keeping them busy here. If they're busy here trying to knock me off their goal, then they're not out there scoring. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm 1v3ing them here. I had turned on... Actually, I think I had turned on my Unite move back at the objective. So I didn't have it here, but it still took a while for them to beat me down. And now this Blastoise takes my role of gathering their attention. Now Leafeon is back there, Sakaven's waiting on the pad, but because none of our goals are broken, we can't get to the farthest pads. So if they come and score, we won't be able to reach them. But Gardevoir comes back, and she realizes this and just jumps blindly into a path. We hadn't seen them. And Sakaven follows, and they had a great idea to go defend the last 2 that the jump pads won't get you to, because someone else that revives would have gotten there. Now I don't think it would have made a difference. I think that they were out of time, but it was still a pretty well executed defense plan, both from our side and from back at the base. Very well played game. Now we can pivot to a different perspective to see it from Sakaven's side. Alrighty, and here is the same match from a different perspective of our jungler Sakaven. I love flipping perspectives because it really gives you a different idea of the game we played, especially on the matches where I see a perspective that wasn't mine. Of course, this is the same one where I am Crustle, but now we get to head into the jungle. I always forget that this is the same game that started like this. Lack of communication. It's so easy to call your lanes, guys. It's so easy. It's such an easy fix. But, of course, we have 3 top laners and 1 bottom laner with an XP share down there. So we're not doing a very good job of managing our XP, needless to say. Here Sakaven mixes up his regular... From what I know, his regular sequence for jungling, and I think it's because the lack of crits on the first Xatu made it so that the Baltoy was up before the red buff, and that's why he went for the Baltoy first. Needless to say, he was going for blue buff last, and that's why he might have gotten it stolen by the Machop. It's hard to tell, but because I came in here, I noticed what the sneaky little Machop was up to. Sakaven was able to come back, secure the blue buff, secure the kill on the Machop, and become our temporary bottom laner, now that we have a lot of XP. Now, usually, someone invading the jungle, even though they lose out on XP for themselves, that means they're not sharing it with their partner bottom laner. So the Ralt should have been at least level 5 by now, but I don't think he was taking very good advantage of that perk and just farming as much as they could. So here's where my Crustle barely survives, comes back, and we get to delete all of them. Crustle does die. And now Sakaven's probably going to stay bottom lane here to get this farm, to not just gift it to the opponents while I come back. And here comes the little Score Bunny, who would like some of this farm for sure. Barely gets in on this action, a little slow. And then now here comes the cavalry. The Gibble for the first time, the Machop is back, the Ralts is back. Trevenant is going back to its jungle, though. So it's still a 3 against... Oh, it's a 3 against 3. And here's where we make the little mistake. Should have run back to the goal with everyone. And we give up a few deaths there. But no big deal. Everyone's going to make mistakes throughout these games. The way I think of things is that the making truly brilliant plays isn't what's going to win games. Most of the time you win games by making less mistakes than the other team. But also being able to capitalize on them, right? So right now, the opponents had gotten a really good kill on us, but if you remember when I went down there, the Machop was just dancing in between our citrus berries. Ooh. No, I had a theory. I had a theory that our goal was so close to being broken that he didn't want to break it without overscoring, but it was still at 43 then, so I really don't know what that Machop was doing. That is a good example of not taking advantage of the mistakes of your opponents. Anyway, Sakaven gets half of his jungle, comes back down to gank bottom. It's all going pretty well. Secures the Curlia. Big hit on the Machoke, and we're going to be able to win these birds quite easily with the help of Rock Tomb. Sakaven going to stay until the Machoke is dead. He's going to try, but he knows better than to chase them through their goal. So instead he says, you know what, I'm not going to waste any more time here. It looks like everyone forgot about the birds. I think these are the 8-minute birds, actually, so it's been a full minute. Everyone's been so distracted with each other that we hadn't gotten it. Understandable. Here is where they finally get their Talonflame. It scores, but it's going to cost him its life. Whoosh, yep. Jungle. And now Gardevoir and Leafeon should have pretty good damage on this Regieleki, especially now with Wartortle. So I don't expect this to last very long, but you gotta be wary of the opponents. Trevenant's coming up. Trevenant can't do anything. We'll see if they choose to engage the Trevenant here. I think he's far enough away from his goal that it makes sense. And they don't even have a goal here, so that Regieleki is marching pretty far down. Ooh, the Solar Blade saved the Gardevoir barely. Nice job there. And now these birds belong to our team. Trevenant has to choose to come contest or stop the Regieleki, but the Regieleki would have attacked him anyway, so it's a smarter choice to just hold off the Regieleki while backup arrives. Backup did arrive, however the bird instantly goes down to Leafeon and Blastoise combo there. See, me grinding down to the bottom right now, I did not realize this absolute massacre was going up at top after the Regieleki was secured. At this point, Sakaven has low enough HP and Gardevoir is made of paper, so they decide to back up. Oh my gosh! An absolute robbery. Great work on that Gardevoir, recognizing that it had an easy secure on the Machamp. A more absent-minded ally might have just let that Machamp retreat. That Solar Blade left him at 1 HP. Savage. Well, it happens sometimes. Back to the jungle. We fight and we farm in the jungle. It's been too long since we farmed, so Sakaven's back here doing his duty, making sure he's staying ahead on XP. It looks like the few extra kills that our Gardevoir got it a lot of XP. For a while there, it was tied for the first highest level. Sakaven recognizes that Machamp's coming down, makes a nice little move to dodge him. I don't think that Machamp realized exactly how many of us there were down here because he did not last at all. Talonflame gets ripped pretty easily. Oh, Gardevoir's almost dead. Oh, but Gardevoir knows how to stay out of the range of that Regice, so she survives. We rip the Regice, we push upward. Oh, I think the Rock Tomb must have been on cooldown, that's why I wasn't able to trap the Gardevoir in range. Ooh, this time the Solar Blade not enough to kill the Machamp and save the Gardevoir. I think Gardevoir is such a nice and balanced Pokemon. Even in its final form, it deals really overpowered damage, but it's so squishy. So you really have to be careful about positioning here. Now, Crustle gets a little bit distracted with the Bunnelby up there for a second, which was definitely a mistake I could have talked about that got Sakaven killed. Here, I turn away. Sakaven is fighting here. Gets the Solar Blade on the Talonflame, it looks like, and the Machamp. The Machamp almost died. I could have come in a little bit faster, but I do kill them both with the X-Scissor. And now Crustle has to run away from the Gardevoir, while Leafeon waits for the cooldown to come back. And it looks like, while that we were busy doing that, the other three teammates secured the Regieleki. Their Garchomp is already doing something weird hiding in the bushes back there, all the way at the top of the map. That's a little bit strange. I noticed it was similar to what they were doing during the Rayquaza fight. Let's see if I remember to look over at him and what he's doing. Sometimes you just don't understand what some players are doing. So this is where Leafeon's farming, getting jungle buffs again. Accidentally runs into the line of fire of a Celgor. It happens to the best of us. Yeah, this is where our Gardevoir gets KO'd by their Gardevoir, and I couldn't chase it down with Crustle. Leafeon's still farming, making sure it has all of its XP. It's one level away from the maximum. Now he's ganking bottom. Is he going to run into that Gardevoir? Yes, he is. Boom! Solar Blade deletes it. Now there's still a Talonflame here. We don't chase it. Oh, it comes back to us. Oh, you know what? I hadn't seen it from Sakaven's perspective the first time, but I think it's possible that the Talonflame came back, yes, to stop me from scoring, but also because it looked like Sakaven was running in the opposite direction. But Sakaven came back and Solar Bladed it in the face. That's where we break that goal. Machamp is wise to not engage after it sees its goal zone go down. Stops to pick up a few energy, but then runs away, leaving us to secure the birds and probably the bottom Regi. Yep, this is the one where Sakaven pivots away after seeing the tree. I think it's too late for the Regirock, but because there's so many of us, we can still secure both this Gardevoir and the Regirock. Machamp is coming here. I don't know. I really can't tell if this was a good play or not from the Machamp, because he could have stolen it. I don't know how much that would have done. But while I'm paused here, look at where the Garchomp is with 50 points. I really didn't notice this during our game. What is he doing over there? That's really unfortunate for my opponents to just have an AFK Garchomp like that. It looks almost like he's doing some trick that lets him run into the wall so that he doesn't get dinged for being AFK, even though he is. Oh, that's awful. I don't like to see that at all. Regardless, our opponents are doing what they can. This Trevenant, for being level 11... No. Yeah, for being level 11 still. Did you see how many people were beating on him? And it still took him a while to die. Trevenant is one bulky Pokemon. It's at this point that we realize their main secure of Gardevoir just died. Their tree still needs a few seconds to come back. We better start ripping this really quickly. And so, I should have mentioned that Sakaven and I did not have mic communication here. So we were just trying to read each other's mind telepathically. Just as is usually the case in this game. Yep, here's where I secure with an auto attack, and we go in. Trevenant's trying to backcap there, which, I don't know. Honestly, it's hard to win from this position no matter what you do. You'd come to defend, we have shields, you probably would have died. If you go to score, we're just going to score more, but yeah, unfortunately for him, he met up with our Cinderace, who deletes him. Sakaven has gotten his score, so he says my job is done. We're going to go back to the jump pad, and we're going to defend, make sure they don't score on us. And this is how we end up with our perfect victory. No goals were broken, despite our bottom goal being at 6 more to break from 6 minutes prior to this moment. And this is where the Crustle holds all of them off for forever, and then the Blastoise holds all of them off for forever. Now, we can see their bubbles, but as soon as they disappear, we don't know what lane they're coming from, which is why Sakaven isn't jumping on the pad. But Gardevoir makes the leap. Leafeon says, okay, I guess I'll go defend the other one. Gardevoir guesses right, but they wouldn't have made it in time. And that is the battle. That was the one that got me to Ultra Rank 1. Just one more rank, and I get to Master with Crustle. Thanks for watching.